Good afternoon, everybody. Something came up today when I was having a conversation with my daughter, and I thought I need to just put this in a video out there. And this is something that a lot of divine feminines do not talk about, and me included, never used to talk about it. And I feel it's really important to share it because, well, A, not many people are talking about it, and B, it's really important, I think, in my growth and for other divine feminines to also hear, to help them as well, to set them free, I guess is the best way. And what I'm referring to is the way that we hold back in this sacred connection. I'm talking about twin flames, twin souls, whatever name you prefer to use, but it's your divine other, your divine one that you share a soul with. And the reason why we don't talk about it a lot, or that's probably the wrong choice of words, there's probably people that do talk about it a lot in groups and things, but the reason why we kind of perhaps shy away more from really owning it and stepping in it and being it and talking about it to people, I mean, we are it, but I mean talking about it a lot, is because of the reactions that we've received over time. And I've talked about this before with judgments and not worrying about judgments, but I was talking to my daughter about this today, and I don't even know how we got to talk about it, to be honest, but I said it really quick in a way to her because she's, understands my path, and she's always been very encouraging and very supportive, and which is amazing, and it's great. And so she kind of gets it, but we were talking about, this situation and how others don't always get it. And it's because the thing is, when you meet your other one, when you meet your twin flame, and we know all that happens and all those things, but and how you feel, but when you meet your twin flame, your soul knows, and it's just an undeniable, absolutely undeniable recognition, knowing when you look into their eyes. You can see inside of them, you can see your soul because you share it. Even if you don't even know about twin flames at the time, or connected souls or anything like that, you know that you share the deepest connection with this person ever possible. You share a love beyond this world. You share such connection in every level. And this is why it is intense, this connection, and why people do talk about how difficult or intense the twin flame journey is, because they are your mirror and they do reflect all that. And without getting into all of that, because we've heard that a million times, and what happens, this video is more about explaining why the divine feminine, and pointing it out why we hold back. And what happens is it usually goes something like this, and not always. It's probably a generalization, but it usually goes something like this. So you meet your divine one, and then, you have that little bit of a beautiful start and everything, and that recognition. But at some point down the track, usually it is, sorry, divine masculine to say this, but it usually is the masculine, or it can be the masculine energy in a feminine body. So we all hold, as we know, masculine, feminine energy. We all have that in ourselves individually, and we share that. We share an energetic field with our divine soul partner. So we both have that masculine, feminine. So it can be the divine masculine running in the feminine body, or it can be the divine masculine, usually 9 out of 10 cases, as most divine feminines would say, if you talk to others, that it's usually the divine masculine that has ran or disappeared or, you know, whatever, blocked them, how it goes. And obviously we know that there's reasons this happened. We know deeper. We then go into internally and we start doing our work and we start understanding what this connection's about and how, you know, it is an internal connection from the inside out, not the outside in. So it doesn't work like a karmic connection or a soulmate connection where you seek externally to fill all your voids and everything. It's about doing that work on yourself, because your divine partner is your mirror, and they're not here to fill your voids. They're here to help you grow. They help you to evolve. They're here to help you to come back to that beautiful oneness within yourself and that balance of your masculine and feminine, your divine light, your divine soul that you are. And then you're both reflecting that to each other, both doing that work for you both to then come back as one in union together. So it's very, very different to any other love, relationship, connection that pretty much anyone else out there is ever going to see if they're not experiencing themselves. And because of this, people don't understand. And what happens is when you say you're so deeply in love with this person and you have the strongest connection and like it's just off the chain, you know, it's just off the chain. It's just off the fucking chain. Like, honestly, sorry for my language, but it just is. There is nothing like it. And you know deep in your soul that you are this person and they are you. You know that you share this, you know, even if you're not quite sure what it is, and it could be very, you know, it might be spinning your head. You might be thinking you're going crazy. You might be thinking, is this a fantasy? You might be thinking all these things, which all of us, most of us go through because we're taught about a very different way, you know, with relationships. So we're not really taught that people reflect, you know, in relationships, that they reflect the mirror so that you can go deeper and work on yourself and become the best version of yourself and come back to that wholeness and that sacred God consciousness that you are. And especially when twin flames are here and star seeds and light workers, we all are, to do the work we're here to do through our love and coming together with that love, because our love in our light individually is you know, is amazing, but our light and love together, as we all know what that does to the planet, so and how that helps humanity rise. So twins are here for, you know, very, very, very incredible job, in sense, I don't like to use that word job, it doesn't sound very good, does it? But I mean mission, path, whatever you want to call it, for humanity. And if the average person knew really how our love can help the planet so much, then they would be sitting up and taking notice, and they would be going, wow, okay, right. So, but getting back to what I was saying with the divine feminine is that we're still programmed a lot in the early stages to the old ways. So people say to us, when our masculine runs away or takes off and gets into other third-party relationships or karmic relationships or whatever, it's the same for a lot of us. You know, this happens for a lot of us. And people say, look upon us, and, you know, whether it's family or friends, close friends, best friends, distant friends, whatever, acquaintances, and they kind of think that you're going a bit nuts, and they're like, well, you know, because if this person loved, this is what you get. If this person loved you, they would be with you. They wouldn't be running from you. If this person, you know, felt the same way as you, they wouldn't be, you know, doing this or blocking you or whatever. And at the whole time, you're realizing that they're only reflecting to you what you need to work on. Because as I said in my other videos, you know, we both shine the light like a beautiful flash torch in each other, and then we go like, that's where you need to do the work, and then we separate. You know, that's the basis of usually how it goes. We separate so that we can do the work individually, separate, because otherwise it can be, if twins are trying to do the work together all the time, it can be very like Trigger City, you know, it's trigger, and you don't have time to heal and grow without the constant triggers all the time. And so for a lot of, you know, for most twins, this is how it works. You might find a few that if they've done a lot of spiritual work and they're quite advanced and evolved, and then they meet their twin, their divine other, they might come together and work through things, the rest of it like that. But majority of us, we've had to do the work individually, in physical separation. So you're never in separation because you share that energy, that energy body. You share the same energy, share the same consciousness, your thoughts, their thoughts, back and forth, all that sort of stuff. So it's in that way you're always connected, and they are you and you are them, so you're always connected. So it's just a physical separation in that way. But it's always about coming back to realizing that they are you. And so the triggers that are happening is what really, what needs to be healed in you, let go of, surrendered, healed, that sort of thing. But to the outside world, the outside person, they don't understand that. And I have some of the most amazing spiritually evolved people that honestly have don't understand this connection because they don't have it, and it is only something you can understand if you have it yourself. And I've tried to explain to them how it works differently to a karmic connection, and they still don't get it. They still come back to this, oh yes, but but you get hurt, or this happens or that happens, and they get in their head that true love would never do that. But honestly, it's what we've been programmed to believe. True love is very different to what true love actually is. True love is not where someone will fill all your voids and let you go along in pain, in unhappiness, or wounds that are unhealed, or all of that stuff. I'm not going to get into all of that, but it's very, very different. So this is the most incredible, beautiful love and connection, but also privilege, absolute privilege and honor to have this. And I know a lot of Divine Feminine don't feel that way because of what we've gone through. And the Divine Masculine may not even feel like that either because of what they've gone through. But it is truly, truly, truly such an honor. And so the reason the Divine Feminine doesn't always come out and express themselves and put it out there that they are in this connection, that they have this love, is because to an outsider, they might look nuts. They might look crazy. They might go, well, hello. And, and so what happens is the Divine Feminine starts to, they get judged upon, and they start to think, oh, well, actually, I suppose, it does look like, how is people going to react? Like, they think you're crazy because this person's running away from you, or, hey, they're in a relationship with somebody else. So what do you mean they love you? Because that's what we're programmed, that, people will only enter into relationships with somebody else, if they're in love with that person or whatever. But there's lots of relationships, even karmic relationships out there, where people will go to relationships and enter into relationships to for their own needs, instead of facing themselves. There's a lot of Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine that have resisted. So everything I'm saying about the Divine Masculine, even though they have actually, acted this out, and they may be in other relationships, and they may be saying to people, no, it's just sex, or it's just this or that or whatever, because that happens a lot with the Divine Feminines as well. It's the reason why they're resisting and they're not looking deeper. And honestly, that they could be, so that, the masculine and feminine work quite different. So their mind they could be tricking themselves so much in, and blocked so much out, and running so much from that deeper love, because a female, mind you, this wasn't my case. So I've played out the Divine Masculine energies and the Divine Feminine energies, because my heart was very blocked. But for a lot of feminine, probably the average feminine opens their heart more, and they can feel that deeper love sooner, more, and open up to their Divine Masculine more than the Divine Masculine would open to them. And so what happens is that when they do that, they get hurt, and because it's scary for the divine masculine. And we know that men and women, their emotions are different. They feel things different. They look at things different. They have a different way of processing and all of that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that the deepest message for the divine feminine is, and if this is something you're coming into and this is new for you, is that please go with what you know is in your heart and soul. Your divine masculine, friends, family, their karmic partners, third party, relationships, whatever it is, nobody can tell you what you know. Nobody can tell you how, who you're connected to when you know who you're connected to, and you know who your soul belongs to, and you know who's sharing your soul. Nobody can tell you. Even if your divine masculine is saying, no, I don't feel the same way, and still off, somewhere else. Even if your friends and family are saying to you, I think you've got it wrong, and you need to look at this, which I must say I didn't really have that. I had some friends say that to me in the early stages, but my family have never ever said that to me. They've always been very supportive, because my family know me so well that they know in my whole life I've never ever depended on a man, ever. I've never been codependent. I'm not saying this to toot my own horn. I'm saying it as an observation for people to understand. Okay, if somebody knows you well enough, like I said, my family know I've always been independent. I've never been codependent on anybody. And in fact, my whole life, I've never chased a man, ever. And if somebody was to hurt me, or not want to be with me and play or whatever, it was like, okay, ta-ta, bye-bye, move on. I've always been that person. So they know that when I'm telling them that I'm connected to this person, and this person is my twin flame, and we share a soul, and I'm explaining it to them, they know they know that I'm feeling what I'm feeling, and it's the truth, because they've never seen me ever be this way with anybody. They know that I would never be still on this journey and going with this if I didn't know who we were, what our path is, what we're here to do, and to be love, to be in this love and share this love. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper. Like the twin flames are here to break down so many patriarchal barriers, old karmic cycles and patterns, and ancestry cycles and patterns, and it just to all that karmic ancestry lineage and everything. We are here for, and we're doing that through ourselves. It's nothing we have to go out and specifically do. We're doing it through our own stuff, and we're all healers. We all have we're super powerful. We all have incredible metaphysical gifts. Whether you know it or not, as a twin flame, you're constantly tapping into them and using them all the time, even if you're not conscious of it. And it's the same as when I'm talking about the divine masculine. Even if they're not conscious of the full depth of the love, they know they're connected, and they know this is off the chain, and they know this is something that they've never felt with anybody else, and they know that oh my God, like I just can't look into her eyes without seeing myself, or I can't, whatever, things that are going on. Even though that's going on, they can still, that part of them shut down to because a lot of them don't, and I include myself in this divine masculine part as well, because of worthiness. So the unworthiness is the biggest trigger. It's the biggest thing, because so many don't think they're worthy of certain things, and this love is one of them. So for somebody like me, I have not really wanted to put all this out there like this, because why didn't I want to? Okay, so this is another thing. Divine feminines fear what their masculine is going to say and do. They fear getting hurt again. They fear the divine masculine turn around and saying, I don't love you, or I don't feel the same way, or don't put that out there, or don't, whatever, because they're in fear. So they'll come from their place of fear. And this is why a lot of divine feminine are scared to say it. I have coached and met a lot of twin flame divine feminines over the last few years that are so scared once their divine masculine says, no, I'm in this relationship, go away, or don't speak to me again, or I don't feel the same way. And what do? They second guess themselves. They start to go, oh, okay, oh, did I make a mistake? Oh, hang on. And then they start to trip out, and it's really, really, they start to go into that unworthiness, and, and in a sense, their divine masculine is unconsciously, if they don't realize they're doing it, our soul is working together to heal both. So at an unconscious level, the divine masculine might not even understand what they're doing, but they are triggering the divine feminine to go deeper within themselves, to work much deeper on themselves, because they still could be codependent on their divine masculine. They could just be wanting, because it's not the relationship where they'll come along and fill all your voids and needs. So if you're in the energy of, I can't live without my divine masculine. I can't do mission without my divine masculine. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't step onto my path. I can't step into my sovereignty without my divine masculine validating our love, validating our connection, validating what we have. He's got to step up and do it first, or he's got to come beside me and do it first, because, I don't want to look like I'm just out there saying this and doing this while he's off with somebody else, and it looks like, that whatever it looks like, whether you're worried about someone like judgment from others, whether you're worried about looking nutsy or crazy or whatever. And this is something that held me back for a very long time, until I got to the point where, it was the universe. It was the universe choosing to use my divine masculine, like our soul, actually, when I talk about the universe. So your soul is always working. All your soul knows, your soul doesn't know anything of what the yap and the fear and the ego that's going on. All your soul knows is that when you meet your divine partner, all your soul knows is that it wants to be back together, right? This is my match. This is my energetic match. Bang. Okay? It's like two magnets. This is my energetic match. And that's what your soul knows. And that's why you are drawn back together time and time and time again. And that's why when we're in ego and fear and we're reacting from that and acting and creating that, so by running or going over here, or not wanting to be around that person or whatever because the fear's coming up, that's all ego, which comes from fear. But if we're in our heart and our soul and we're letting our soul guide, completely different story. So all your soul feels, none of that other shit, all your soul feels is that's the other half of me. That's where I need to be. Okay, so this is why, but resistance and denial are the two biggest things that we both use. And I'm not on here to blame any one or the other. We both use it. We are each other. So whatever is not healed in one, it will show up in the other. And whatever the difference is, and why I'm really wanting to put this out there for the divine feminine, is because the divine feminine kind of leads when they're in separation. So everyone's different. Okay, so every connection, every twin flame couple are unique. And they all are here for their own thing. Like, we're all sort of here for the same thing, but we'll play that out and our path will be different to other people. So we'll do that in different ways. And we've all got a divine blueprint that we come with. And that's what we signed up for, and that's what we know that we've come to do it in that way. So the universe has been placing people in our life. It's all been set up strategically, and if we go off path, the universe, people will come back onto our path, to come into our life for reasons to help pull us back onto path, to trigger us, or for whatever it is, okay? Is to take us through things that we've got to remember. It's kind of like lessons, but I don't use the term lessons really, because I think we already know. We don't have to learn it again. We just have to remember. So this is what happens. So the divine feminine actually leads, which I've said this in another video, in stepping into her sovereignty, usually first, because we are also, twin flames are crashing down all those old templates of the patriarchal system of the man, the masculine, when the man's in control, and there's, it comes from that power, that that manipulation, that the power over the female in that old Iron Age unhealthy way. It's not the harmonious, beautiful balance of the yin and yang, and the both of the divine masculine and feminine coming back together. And so it's about a union and balance within the two. It's not about one controlling. And the relationships that we're taught to have in life, these karmic or somatic relationships, all work on a control or some type of control or manipulative system. We all don't realize we're doing it, but we're manipulating each other's energy when we're in those relationships, because we want to fill our cup, that we want the other person to fill our cup, to fill our voids, to fill our pain, to give us what we want, to control our needs and our wants, and that those relationships are going. That's all from conditioned love, and we are moving into the new earth template of unconditional love, and nothing's stopping that. It's happening whether people like it or not. And that's what twin flames are here to bring in, the new template of love, the new unconditional template of love. So now you can understand why our unions and our love and our relationships cannot work the same way as the old, because the old's crashing down and that's going. So we are here to set the example and show people that what the new earth template of love is, which is unconditional. And so this is why we're all programmed to the same station, usually all our life, of this is how we see a relationship and this is how it pans out. Most of us are not awakened to what's really going on. So because we're all programmed to the same station, this is why a lot of twins have a lot of difficulty coming together and coming into union and doing the work. And there's a lot of running and chasing and going on, because, even though I don't like to use that word runner and chaser, because it's really running from yourself. Whoever's running is running from themselves. And but this is why it's not just like, oh, there you are, come together, all bed of, roses and butterflies and unicorns, because we all carry wounds and trauma from childhood wounds, childhood trauma, inner child wounds we need to work on. We all carry certain types of guilt and shame and fears, and doubts and insecurities. And usually we're used to just seeking outside of ourselves to fill our insecurities and to fill our voids and to fill our fears, and without facing them. And we cannot evolve and raise in consciousness and vibration if we do not heal those, if we do not clear out all that crap. And so I think we all pretty much know how it all works by now. There's a lot more becoming conscious in the world. There's mass consciousness rising all around the world now, with all these new portals that are opening at different times, and all the planetary things that are going on, and retrogrades, yes, but like on a much bigger scale than these retrogrades. Like, there's huge stuff happening. If you don't really understand it all, then go and do some research on it. But the energies are just really stepping up now, because Earth is already, Mother Gaia is already stepped up to 5D, and anything that is not of that higher vibrational level and consciousness is going to fall away. And we are going to have, a lot falling away, and not everybody, I guess, is here to rise. We'll have a lot more people and souls that will decide to leave the planet. But, but there are a lot evolving, and there's a lot more people waking up and a lot more understanding. And so we're leaders. Twin flames are leaders, twin souls, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't really care. I don't mean to be funny about it, but honest to God, I've been so sick and tired of hearing over the years, people jump on the wagon and they just give the twin flame stuff a bad name because of all these people out there that are teachers too and are coaches and stuff, but they're just coming from their ego and they're spilling out a lot of shit. And I'm sorry, I'm passionate tonight about getting this out there while I'm on a roll. But it's true, they do. So I did lean away from the name because I'm like, I really honor this connection with my twin. I really honor what we have in this love, and I'm not getting caught up in the energy pool of that. No way. So I didn't call myself a twin flame for a while there. I used the word twin soul more, or one soul connection, or divine partner. I used different things because I thought, that's a real... it came so commercialized and people didn't understand it. But now I've found that with these energies rising, that people that, it's weaning out a lot of people that thought they were twin flames. And that's great because it's releasing them, and now they can go on to find the partnerships and their path that they're truly here for. And us, real twins are stepping up to the plate more and becoming, more the leaders. So my twin and I are one of the originals, and I've known that since 2015. Have I wanted to say it or get it out there? No. Why not? Well, because, we're not in union. And so people again go, oh yeah, well, they degrade. They come from the energy and the judgment, and they don't mean to, but they degrade. They don't honor who you are as a soul, as a master, as a being. But guess what? They're not going to honor it if you're not honoring it yourself. And I wasn't really stepping up to the plate and being in the leadership role that I'm here to be. Why? Oh, well, because, a bunch of reasons, which I'm not going to get into in this video because it's already gone on a long time. But same for a lot of reasons why the feminine don't usually. And also, one of the reasons is that I always thought that my divine masculine leads, and I had that in my soul and I knew, but what I didn't realize is that yes, he does lead when we're in union. He leads, but it's still, there's no control. When I say lead, I don't mean one controls the other, but to that point of working on yourself, it's the divine feminine, like I said before. It's us that have to step up and not wait for validation from our twin to be with them, or to be in union with them, to before we step on our path and step in our sovereignty. Because the divine masculine, even if they don't understand, like at a conscious level, unconsciously they know, and their soul knows, that they're kind of waiting for the divine feminine to do it. They're waiting for the divine feminine to stand in her truth, and to stand in the truth of the soul she is, in her sovereignty. And they're waiting for her to be who she truly is. But not only that, but 1,000,000% knowing that this is the connection and the love that they truly know it is. So again, if the divine feminine are having doubts because the divine masculine is not doing what they want them to do, or not, falling into their arms, or not coming into divine union, or running, or whatever, or they're in other relationships, then the divine feminine, a lot of divine feminine pull back and they don't step up. because they're waiting. They're waiting for the divine masculine, to come and give them that validation. And deep in our soul, and deep in this connection of, if you're a twin flame in your own, you know how it works. You can feel what your divine masculine is at a soul level, right? And at an unconditional loving level, you can feel the nurturing and the protection coming from them, the beautiful, incredible, sacred honor, love, and power that they have. You know them as a soul. You know who they are. You see their light when they can't see it. When they're fumbling in the darkness, you see their light, and that's exactly the same as they see us. And so we see this, and so what we tend to do is we think, well, because we feel it energetically, we're waiting for it to come, and we don't step forward because we think, well, we know who they are. And what happens is then divine feminine, some start to doubt who they are. I must say I've never ever doubted. I've ran, absolutely. I've wanted to shut down. I've wanted to try a million different things for it to go away when my divine masculine was not filling my voids, or filling my needs, or telling me how much he loves me and all this sort of stuff, because that's what we're used to hearing. And so was there times that I had my joggers on running out the door? Absolutely. However, the reason that I was doing that is because I knew who he was. I knew exactly who he was to me. And it's for that reason that I was running. It was that reason that I was in the pain I was in. It was that reason, of what was going on. And that's so, for people to say, I don't really know if someone's my twin or not, you would know. You would absolutely know. And unless you are really, really, really embedded in your ego with fear so much that your ego is telling yourself that, oh, it's not this person, or I don't want it to be this person, or whatever, because it's just been too hard or difficult, or not even hard or difficult, but just to face yourself. So you always must remember, if you're blaming your divine other, so whether it's the feminine blaming the masculine or the masculine blaming the feminine, if you want to go down the blame road, whenever you're doing that, it's all coming from ego. You're not going inside yourself and coming from your soul, from your heart. You're not looking at your stuff, because whatever is happening is what's happening with you. So if how can I say this? So most twins will have the same wounds. There might be a different story surrounding how they got there, but they'll have the same wounds. And so whatever is that you might be looking at them and saying, oh, she's not doing this, or he's not doing that, or I can see this in her, or I can see this in him. Whatever you're talking about, that's in you. And so you must come back to you. And this is where you've got to go deeper into yourself with that inner growth. So it's not about blaming one or the other. It's you've got to go back into you. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave it there, I guess. That's probably what I wanted to say. But the bigger story, or the biggest, the biggest message in this, which probably could have taken less than 40 minutes, but I got on a roll, on a tangent. But the biggest message is that you know who you're connected to, and from the outside world and others, it might look crazy, or it might look like this person doesn't love you, or it might look whatever it looks like. But you have to stick with what you know. And it doesn't matter how many people come and try and change your mind, or how many people say it shouldn't be this way, or it should be that. Does not matter. And even including your divine other, like whether it's the masculine or feminine, you're the one that knows who you're connected to. You know who you have that deeper love with. And so, in summing it up, it's about because until you can really step into that and hold that knowing and move forward with that, and not have anybody give you doubt or have you question that, until you can do that, then you're not stepping into the soul you are, because that's who it is. At the end of it all, you're each other. You're the same soul. So for you have to be in your sovereignty and at your soul core of who you are. Otherwise, your other partner's not going to be at theirs. Your divine masculine or feminine is not going to be at theirs. And that's it. And it's just really about being your true self, true authentic self in every way. Not 95% doing this, but then holding back on that. And that's what I was doing too, I must admit. And a lot of it for me was out of fear of our sacred love being dishonored and disrespected. And I went into that in my last video of being seen, because I talk about it in my book as well, about how we were dishonored and disrespected growing up when I was growing up as a little girl, and my twin flame was in spirit form because we have an age gap and I'm older than him. So I talk about it in my book, and this is why I just thought I'd explain that in case people didn't understand that and thought, well, how can you grow up with the spirit, twin flame in spirit? But what was I going to say? Yeah, so I've lost my train of thought now. But I can't remember where I was leading with that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I've voiced enough. But no, that's right. It was my fear around being dishonored and disrespected. And so my twin, as crazy as it sounds, what he was mirroring to me to heal was that. So he would show disrespect to me and dishonor to who we were in our connection, our love, because that's what I needed to heal. And I've got to say, it's really hard for the divine masculine, extremely hard as well, because they don't want to hurt the person they love so truly deeply. But when it comes to their soul knowing that they have to reflect this for the other one to heal, for their other one to heal, and also when somebody is just such in fear or scared of going inside themselves, right? So because your twin is you and they don't want to hurt you, or we don't want to hurt them, because the hurt's been on both sides. But when we're in a more of an unconscious state and we don't understand what we're doing and we're just coming from fear, we do anything that will stop us from looking at ourselves and going into that fear, embracing that and pushing forward it and healing and letting go and surrendering that. So until we get to that point, we usually will do anything to not face that fear and to stop ourselves from having to look in ourselves, look deeper into ourselves. So this is where the pain, this is where each other hurt each other, because they don't want to hurt each other. But at the time, they're kind of just thinking of themselves in terms of that they don't want to go deeper into themselves, if that makes sense. And at the same time, our souls are working together because they are one, to help the other, to mirror that and shine the little torch in our shadow spots, in our dark corners and spots that we haven't healed, to get us to heal that. And so that's, basically, there's always going to be, in this journey, you'll find that, there's pain usually on both sides. And the divine masculine, yes, I know that the talk is, there's so many that have caused hurt and pain, but you have to understand at the level that they were at consciously and how they were reacting to the divine feminine's actions and the divine feminine energies as well that were coming from their divine feminine, and then how they were coping with that and what was happening with that. And I can say, for somebody like myself that had never been codependent my entire life on anyone, least of all a man, to then turn around and become codependent on my twin flame, and like, oh my gosh, we have to be together, I can't, it was that sort of energy, and it was just repelling. And that's what a lot of divine feminines do. They repel because of the of the nature of our soul and the energy, you know, the negative and the positive, you know, the magnetic nature of how it works when you get into the scientifics of twin flames and the energy, which I'm not going to now. But you can understand then exactly why it works as it is. So it is really a journey that can be a lot more simplified if we just understand and go in and do our own work. But what happens is a lot of us, the men and the women, they go a little bit into this, oh, you know, it's intense and it's crazy and I'm going to run and I don't want to feel it and whatever, for whatever reasons, because it's a lot that can be popping up if you're in fear and you have wounds and inner child wounds and trauma. And a lot of twins have come in, well, all of us really have come in, as I said, to not just heal our own stuff from this life, but past lives, but also our ancestors, our ancestry lineage and all of that. So there's a lot that we've broken down and gone through to heal that. It's not just, it's bigger than us and just this lifetime. It's way bigger, and this is why there's now, with these energies of the raising of the divine masculine that's been happening over the last 7 months or something, and you know, and then the feminine are going through stuff as well, and the new energies, and yeah, anyway, so I just wanted to touch on that, and I touched on quite a bit there. And I hope that yeah, I just want to put that out. I hope that helps some of you, and just to become freeing. And my biggest message is to just really not hold back. You know who you are connected to and who you have this divine, incredible, beautiful spiritual love with. You know who you're here to journey with and do your path with. You know what you're here, what the bigger picture is as well. And so don't let anybody tell you any different, and step up and own that and be in that leadership of that, and not worry about being seen. And I know that it can sometimes be quite daunting because of the nature of what's going on, but it's got to come back to you standing tall as a soul of who you are. If you're waiting for someone else to tell you who you are at a soul level, well then you're never going to align with anything. You haven't done the deeper work, and which you just need to go deeper and do that, because we're talking about like massive God consciousness here. We're talking about really stepping up into our sovereignty and greatness of who we are. And it doesn't mean we have to be perfect. I'm not talking about that at all. It's the opposite. It's about really just clearing out and being who we are. It's about being, as people used to use this term, perfectly imperfect. And it's about just being so transparent and beautifully open and seen by yourself and your twin that makes the magic happen. And that's all it really needs to be. None of this, fear and running and not acknowledging it. It's about, I'm losing my light. It's about being so very transparent and being able to be seen and not be in fear of who you are as a beautiful soul. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. Love, light, and blessings to you all. Much love. Bye.